Welcome back to This Takes the Cake. We're super excited and honored. We have Amanda Harrell here from Lemon or Lime, and we're going to talk all fun things today, right?
Yes, I'm so excited.
I always say
to be
band
here.
and booze is what you need to have a party, and I'm excited to talk all things lemon or lime. So we're going to first talk how we kind of met, and then how you kind of started with S&B and how you kind of grew into lemon or lime.
Yeah, so I was watching TV one day, Sara, and Sara was on TV. And this is true. I was like, I want to work for them. I did. And so I called up and I went through the interview process. And thankfully, I got the job.
Yes.
And I was an assistant for S&B for a while. And I did that. And I love it. And I still love helping out with weddings.
When we need her, we'll pull her from Lemon or Lime to S&B.
And so I started working for S&B that way. And then Sara wanted someone to take the reins for Lemon or Lime. And I fell right into that. Thankfully, I've been in the restaurant business and bar business for a long time. So
it runs in the family, right?
Yeah. So it kind of was just a perfect fit.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. And so, because I was still like getting Lemon and Lime kind of up and going, and I was like, I just can't do both of these. So when we met, I was like, oh, this is perfect. So let's talk about Lemon or Lime, our locations, kind of the whole process, and I'll let you kind of tell that part.
All right, so Lemon or Lime is located in the Myrtle Beach area, but we do bars up and down the Grand Strand all the way. We were in North Carolina a couple weeks ago up in Whiteville. So we go up into North Carolina too, but we go all the way down to Georgetown, inland, a couple hours. We were in Marion one time. And so we're all over
no, absolutely.
this area.
The venue you just went to that was in North Carolina, was that beautiful?
Oh, it was so pretty. It really was.
I know. I wish that was a little bit closer.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too.
It's a really cool venue.
It was really pretty.
So tell them about, we recently just started having new locations.
I know. This is very exciting. So we are franchising. If anyone is interested in a franchise in their city, we've now expanded to Charleston. We're in the Charleston market, and we're also in Savannah, Georgia, and Hilton Head Island, South Carolina market. Right. So we're growing, and we love it.
No, it's fun. I love it. So this episode, we're going to be talking about tips for your bar and drunk wedding guests, right? There's always that one, you just can't get through a wedding or event without that one. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to ask you some questions. So what should couples do if their venue doesn't have a bar included?
Okay.
They call us, right?
They want to call Lemon or Lime right away and find out. We always ask the couples, what kind of bar do you want? What are you looking for? Some people just want to do beer and wine. Some people want beer, wine, liquor. Some people want to bring their own alcohol and just hire us for the service of the bartenders, the mixers, and
which is totally fun. Yeah. We'll go either way with that for sure. And sometimes it ends up saving them a little bit, but sometimes it's just as much work.
I know. I feel like the amount of hassle it takes for them to go buy the alcohol, get it to the venue. It's sometimes easier for the bar to
right, because you know what amounts to get and things like that, and I know you'll work with the clients and give them recommendations and things like that. But also when we provide the alcohol, we can't run out, so it might be beneficial to you. Exactly. It may cost us more, So, so what about glasses and bar equipment? Who is responsible for that?
So if you hire Lemon or Lime, we do provide plasticware. But if you want glassware, you're going to need to rent that from a rental company.
Absolutely. No, for sure. And will you help them with counts and things if they need help with that stuff?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we do.
All right. What are some things people look for when hiring a bar service?
Well, you should definitely look for to make sure they have like liquor liability.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Liability is huge when it comes to anything alcohol related. For
and a lot of venues require, bartending services to have that in order to be there.
No, absolutely.
But you definitely want to look for that. You want to look for a place that has professional bartenders, not just somebody's cousin's best friend.
Because anybody can bartend, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying
Right.
anybody can stand behind a bar and put some ice and some drink,
Right.
but do they really know what they're doing?
Right.
You know?
So, I mean, I feel like that's important. And then
absolutely.
you want to make sure the bar service has bartenders that are tip certified.
Ooh. Yeah. Tell them what
So
that is.
that's a course. The state of South Carolina, you get a certificate and you learn about over serving. You learn a lot about things like that. And it just
pretty much
teaches you a lot.
not have the drunk guest.
Yes, yeah, it teaches you a lot of inside information like that, and it's good.
No, it's definitely good. I'm actually tip certified too, and I remember going through the class because I actually don't drink, which is funny that we created this company. And so I remember taking the class and like all these different things that they would say of like, you know, what would you say if, you know, this person comes, you know, all these different scenarios. And I was like, wow, I've never really thought through those things. Because some people get aggressive when they, you know, are intoxicated and things like that. So,
Right. That's true.
And lemon or lime doesn't allow shots, right?
We do not allow shots.
Yes. Yeah. It's just
it just makes it easier just to say we don't do shots.
yeah. It's just because that's when things
get
wrong.
wild.
Yeah,
Frat
absolutely.
party wild.
Yeah, exactly. All right. What's the best alcohol to serve at weddings, and what will guests expect?
Best alcohol. Well, I mean, when I go to a wedding, I love champagne.
Okay, love it.
I mean, that's
A certain brand, or
I mean,
well, of course.
of course, I love Vouv, but that's just me.
Right.
But I think guests.
That's a good bottle for the bride and groom.
Right. That would be a great bride and groom bottle. I love champagne at a wedding, of course. I like a champagne toast. You know, I've seen lots of champagne towers recently. That's been a thing that's going on back in trend.
Yes.
Another thing I think is really cool is different stations. So it's fun to have like one bar to be a martini bar station, one bar be a bourbon bar station. And I've seen that a lot happening around, like a little champagne bar. Have different stations, and then each bar is its own kind of thing. That's really fun.
No, that is fun for sure. Because if you're a bourbon drinker, you know what bar to go to all night. Or if you want champagne,
it's something fun to have a champagne bar when you first walk up, and it's just little. You know, you can do different things, or you can have their traditional bar with all your alcohol and you know, bourbon, gin, vodka.
No, for sure.
Everything, you know.
And you probably will agree with this too, like, I'd rather see a better level of alcohol and do less.
Agree.
Don't have 10 different liquors.
Oh, yeah. And you don't need 4 different types of vodkas or 4, you know, you don't need.
If you did Tito's or Grey, you know, just do a good level. Don't do... I don't even know some of those names. Sometimes I go to bars, I'm like, what vodka is that?
I know.
I've never even heard of that.
That's true.
Yeah, so how many liquors would you say at a wedding?
I mean, if you're going to have a full bar, I mean, I would do 4 liquors.
Okay.
And then you want to do a white and red, and then ideally a white, red, and a sparkling is ideal.
Absolutely.
And then a couple beers, a handful of beers.
Right.
That's I think a good
And I always say, like, people are going to drink what... you know what the bar serves, you know. So and if the bride or groom wants something specialty, obviously they could let you guys know, and you could always have that for them. So no, for sure. All right, how many bars should there be depending on the guest size?
Well, that's a good question. So I think that typically when you have for every 100 people, you should definitely have at least 1 bar.
For sure.
Yep.
Okay.
I would say, you know, if you have a 200-person wedding, you're going to need at least 2 bars.
Right. No, for sure. Yeah, agree. And how many bartenders? 2 per one?
Well, it really depends. Some we've done some really big events where we've had to have big bars, so we can have 3 or 4 people behind the bar. But what we like to do is 1 bartender for every 50 guests. That's kind of how I figure it out in my head. Yep. So if it's 100 people, we have 2 bartenders.
2 bartenders, yeah.
And then we always, lemon or lime, we have a runner, which is kind of like a bar back, so they can help. Yeah, so they can get glassware or trash or, more alcohol from another bar, and they can help.
Kind of be the runner.
Yeah.
Restock, if you need ice or things like that. Yeah. And that is crucial when you're hiring a bar company, because people are like, we just bring 2 people, but if one has to go grab more ice or go back to the truck or the trailer to grab things, you're down to 1 bartender for your 100 guests. And
That's not
We don't like lines, you know.
right.
All right, talk about the best placement for the bar, like how important that is in a layout. Because you work with different other wedding planners in different venues and things like that. So
We do. So, you don't want to put your bar right super close to the dance floor, because if there is a line, you're going to have that line go out into the dance floor, and that's not fun.
Right, absolutely.
That did happen at a wedding. That S&B wasn't the wedding planners. But
okay, good to know.
yeah, but we were really close to the dance floor, and it wasn't ideal.
Right.
And
I do agree to that. And as a planner, too, you don't want your bar when you first walk into a venue or a tent, because then it bottlenecks, like, the front, too.
So you kind of want it towards the back, in a good spot, away from the dance floor, so that there's no line.
Agree. Yeah. I mean, you want it close, but you don't want it, like you said, like if this is the dance floor, you don't want it right there.
Right, our bar was beside the dance floor.
That's
like
crazy.
The dance floor butted up to the bar.
Oh wow, that's way too close.
That was too close.
Well, they wanted their dancing in their booths.
But they were
together.
dancing while they were dancing and ordering at the same time.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
All right, talk to me about last call.
Last call. So you do not want to do last call right when you want your guests to leave.
Right, yeah.
Because there's always that one or two people or more that get a drink for last call. So if you want your guests to be leaving at 10, you want to do last call at 9:30.
I agree.
If you want your guests leaving at, same thing. I mean, at 11, you don't want to do last call at 11.
Yeah, or 10:55. And they all, it's like bees. They just swarm.
Because they're getting that last drink. A lot of people want their last call drink. So always plan ahead of time.
Right.
Give it a lot of grace.
No, for sure. This is probably definitely a really good question. What is tipping protocol for a bar service?
Okay, so, ideally you want your guests to hopefully be, throwing the bartender some money.
Right.
I always go to a bar and I always start out, if I go to a wedding, I'll take a 20, I'll throw it in the thing, and then I'm good for the night.
Right,
I feel
absolutely.
like,
yeah,
then I don't have to think about it every time.
And
I get
they
a
definitely
drink.
taking care of you.
They take care of you. They remember
Right,
you when you go back.
Yeah, of course.
Help you out. Really.
Yeah.
That's what I do when I go to a wedding. We do have a lot of clients that tip us as part of the,
as the invoice.
Yeah, they tip. And they leave.
And that's totally fun, too. Especially some of the corporate events and grand openings you do. Because you don't always know the clientele that's going to be there. So that's a really nice, generous of them as well.
It is very generous. We really appreciate it.
And if sometimes, if a client's like, I really don't want a tip jar, don't want.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we've had that before, too, not with Lemon or Lime, but the client didn't want the bar service to have that out, but they were like, if they tip them, they put it behind, that's no big deal.
And we also take Venmo now too, so that really helps out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't carry cash anymore.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy? Yeah, pretty much cashless.
So we're like, okay, well, we have Venmo.
Right, no, for sure. All right, I think this is definitely a must at every wedding, some type of signature drink, because it always ties back to the bride or groom, or maybe it's in the family. I had one time a family, they owned a bourbon. I don't remember which bourbon it was, but they were the founders or owners of a bourbon. So they served like a really cool signature drink with their actual bourbon. So what are some of your favorite signature drinks?
So I love when the signature drinks relate somehow to the wedding, to the bride and groom, whether it's, even if it's their favorite drink, it doesn't have to be something fancy. But my favorite ones that we've done, I had a groom who loved tequila. Okay. And he created a pomegranate margarita, and it was amazing. It was his recipe.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Yummy.
And it was phenomenal. It was so good. But I love when the drinks tie to the bride and groom. A couple of weeks ago, we did a bourbon apple signature drink because it was like a fall wedding. Yeah. And that was really good. And everybody loved it. It was good. We put fresh apples in it.
Oh, nice.
So, it doesn't have to be, it can be the time of year. You can think about what time of year this was in the fall.
Right.
You can think about, drinks the bride and groom love. drinks, their favorite drinks, or you can come up with something totally different. And then naming them is always fun. Right? Because you can name them, after anything,
I know, they definitely, a lot of them name them after their dogs.
I love that.
Or their pets. And they do cute little
makes me so happy.
Napkins and little signature drinks. What was the drink you recently just did? It was a hot drink.
We did.
Apple?
It was apple cider and rum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
very cool.
Yeah, it was apple cider and rum. It was warm apple cider.
I've seen that with Fireball too, but I don't know how I feel about
that
Fireball.
would have been.
Yeah,
that would have been good.
You said that would have been good.
But this was, apple cider, hot apple cider and rum, and we put a cinnamon stick in it.
Cute.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah, it was really cute.
So fun. Yeah, it's always fun to see all the different drinks, and I think guests really enjoy. I mean, even when I go to sit at a bar, I don't drink, but I always want to see the different mocktails they have. Like I want to try different ones. So same with when you go to a wedding, you want to try different things.
And recently we did 2 signature drinks. One had alcohol, and we actually did one that was a mocktail.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Love it.
Because the groom didn't drink, and he was like, I want a mocktail. So that was really cool.
I know. Sometimes people look at me so weird. I'm like, do you have mocktails? And they like don't even know what that is.
I think everybody knows what a mocktail is, but maybe that's because I'm in the business.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. All right. Let's talk bar decor. So what are some unique ideas to pull into the bar or into the theme? Or
So if we're talking bars themselves.
Yeah.
My favorite, I want someone to do that living flower bar that I've been seeing.
Yes, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's a bar, and then on the front is the mesh, so you can put flowers
like
in
chicken
it.
wire.
Yeah, chicken wire. That's it.
Yeah,
and it's so beautiful. And I want someone to do that bar. So I'm just in love with it right now.
I think I might have a client coming up that's going to do it.
I'm so excited.
Right,
it's just so pretty. There's some really pretty bars out there that I've been seeing.
Right, and I love when people like custom paint them or really just make it, because the bar is a statement. We know everybody is going to the bar every 20 minutes, to get a new drink or whatever. So I always tell people, like, let's spend some money on the bar because that's going to be a focal point.
Agreed. And even if you don't want to spend a lot of money and you do a cool decal on the front, decals aren't that expensive. And it really makes a really cool impact on the bar, and people notice it.
Right.
And you can do so many cool things.
No, for sure.
With the decal.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right.
And another option is, I know you've done it for some corporate things, is doing like the fun linen with the bar topper.
Oh, yes. Fun linen goes a long way on a bar.
Definitely.
If you don't want to buy a wooden bar and you just want to do something, we can put a table with a cool linen and then a bar topper on top to make it bar height. Yeah. And it's gorgeous and it looks super cool.
And if you're doing a bar, your bar always needs to be bar height. It can't just be an 8-foot table.
It can't just be a tabletop height.
It just looks like your backyard wedding.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
People sometimes don't understand that. I'm like, no, you got to hide all this stuff.
Yeah, and you need a place to put everything. The bartenders too,
and I don't think people realize sometimes all the stuff that they need.
Oh my gosh.
So like, let's just kind of talk through that of like what is really behind the bar.
Oh man. So there's juice bottles. There's the fruit trays, of course, the liquor. What else? The ice, the cups.
Your ice.
The scoops and muddles and
your mixers.
Tongs, mixers. All your mixers all go in little individual containers.
I know, it was so crazy. But before Lemon or Lime started, I would like start looking at like when we were at a wedding, like behind a bar, and I'm like, wow, that is a hot mess behind there of all the things you didn't realize you needed to make a drink.
Right, right. Not just juices, but like your sodas, all your sodas.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's crazy.
So when you're doing a bar and things like that, like I've noticed either your drinkers or mixers with sodas or mixers with like tonic or club soda, right?
Right, it's true. So some weddings we will go to, and I'll think, oh gosh, they're going to drink a lot of tonic or club soda, and they wind up drinking more Coke and Sprite. It's crazy.
Right?
And then some people are just tonic soda, vodka soda, gin and tonic kind of places.
Right. And you sometimes don't know.
No, you don't.
So you have to bring enough for both, or that runner is going to get extra stuff at the store.
Exactly.
No, for sure. All right, let's talk about cutting off guests.
Oh, yeah. So
how do you decide when the best time to cut off someone is?
So you don't want to overserve people. I mean, you've got to, even if they're not driving, they could go somewhere else and drive later. So
of course,
it's very important, that you don't overserve anybody.
Absolutely.
And you just keep your eyes out for anybody who's slurring, stumbling, kind of ordering a lot of drinks at one time.
Right.
Just keep your eyes out for things like that.
For sure. And with that, the whole tip certified, that's part of that whole thing too. So that's nice to know that they know what to look for and things like that.
Yes,
so
for sure.
Because you never know. They could be doing something else.
Yeah.
So.
That's true.
And I know that our cups are a little smaller, for a wedding just because of that reason. You don't want to overserve. So I think, is it a 12 ounce is the tall one, and then is it a 9 ounce for the wine?
Yeah.
So, so when you add the ice into the liquor drink, definitely helps with that. So, all right. So let's talk any drunk wedding guests, any stories that take the cake.
Well, lemon or lime, we don't overserve with lemon or lime. And I'm sure you've seen your share in the wedding business of.
I have. Have you seen any, lemon or lime events?
Right. I'm trying to think of if I've seen anybody. I mean, I've seen this, typical people drink a little bit and then they're dancing like, funny on the dance floor and going crazy. Yeah. And they're like the star of the dance floor. But I've never seen anybody, completely, falling out or anything.
That's why you should hire lemon or lime.
Right.
Well, I've definitely seen some drunk guests at non-lemon or lime events.
Right. So what have you seen?
So this was actually a wedding. It's probably been 7 or 8 years ago. But the groom got so drunk, he literally fell asleep and passed out on the table like that. The groom.
Oh, my God. I would
Done.
I would die.
Well, that's the thing with the guys. They drink during the day. It's a whole thing's worth. All right. I'm trying to think of any other stories that take the cake of drunk wedding guests. So there was one actually just not that long ago, and they were too intoxicated, and they got on a golf cart, and they crashed into a tree.
Oh, no.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah. Everyone was okay.
Okay, good.
But, yeah, it can happen not in a car,
right,
in a golf cart.
Right. I'm glad they were okay, and I'm glad they were in a golf cart.
And there was actually a kid on the golf cart, too.
No.
Yeah.
No.
They had to file a report and everything, but they left the scene.
I'm sure they did. They got out of there.
Because, I guess you could get
I think so. I think you can get.
So I know you can get like a, what's it? You can get one on a boat, a BUI. So I'm guessing a
on a boat, it's called a BUI?
Yeah, BUI. So I guess you could get a GUI. Is that a thing? I don't know.
I don't know. I bet it is.
And then there was a wedding. This has been a little while ago. At the end of the night, all the guests were gone, and we were like packing up and doing everything. And we went upstairs, and there was a guest literally passed out on one of the beds. It was like a plantation style home, and they have like rooms in it.
Oh my gosh! And no one knew they were there. Well, I'm glad you went upstairs. Could you imagine if you would have left and they would have been there all night, and they would have woken?
They would have been locked in there for sure.
Oh my gosh!
It was too funny.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah. What about have you had any like drunk brides and grooms?
I've had a lot of brides and grooms that, drink, for sure, and have a great time. But I've never had any that are just completely fallen out or anything.
Right.
I haven't. So
Jackie in Palm Beach, probably going to kill me for this one. She had one recently, and obviously I wasn't there, but she was sending us like videos and photos of what was happening. But the groom got so drunk. During the middle of the reception, like I have a video and photo of it. The stretcher comes in there, and they literally have to take him out.
What?
Yeah. And the bride's literally still dancing on the dance floor.
She just doesn't care.
Like, what? That's your husband.
Gosh.
Or I thought it was your husband.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
So was he done for the rest of the reception?
Yeah, he went to the hospital.
Yeah. And they just continued?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my God.
Weird?
Wow.
So weird. What? I think that's so weird. I've definitely had some drunk, intoxicated brides and grooms for sure.
Yeah.
And I've seen them not talk so very nice to each other too, which is the worst.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
Like
I mean,
fight.
alcohol,
Yeah.
is definitely different.
Some people are fighters, some are lovers when they're drinking. I
right.
think,
Yeah. Yeah. So there was, now that I'm really thinking through all this, there was a bridesmaid at a wedding, and I remember I took a picture because I thought it was so funny, but there was, everything was happening, and then there was like this sofa bench with a table where the guests were sitting. She was just laid out, asleep, passed out. Yep.
And the wedding was continuing around
everything
her?
was going on. Like she was a little 2-year-old balled up over there.
Wow.
And just asleep.
Wow, that's funny.
I know. It's crazy. But nothing like, knock on wood, like so crazy that,
Well, I think the groom getting taken out and going to the hospital,
yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
Definitely. I'm sure Jackie could probably elaborate to that story.
Yeah.
But yeah, being taken out on the stretcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
You win. Too funny. So any other bar stories or anything that you can think of?
Nothing.
Well, that's good.
Of.
That's
been pretty.
It's definitely a positive thing.
Yeah, and I've worked with some great clients. You
right.
know, we work with them for a while, and then you have the event, and then you miss them.
Right.
You know?
No, you do. For sure.
You genuinely do.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I guess that's a good thing that there's not like too much thing. And it definitely depends on the crowd. I've definitely had some rowdy groomsmen.
There's definitely rowdier crowds than others. We've done weddings where it's felt like a frat party.
Yeah.
Where it's the crowd is young and they are wild and crazy.
Exactly. They're at that age.
And then there's weddings that everybody is just mellow and chill and calm.
Right.
It's definitely.
And then there's some boring weddings.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some weddings where people don't even get up and
dance.
It's so weird.
I know, definitely for bands and DJs. I know sometimes they have to. It depends on their crowd,
It does.
As much as you can play good music and do
you can have the best music, the best DJ,
the best drinks, and
the best drinks. But if the crowd is like blah,
no, for sure.
So you need to have fun friends, everybody. Fun friends,
or if not, hire some fun ones to come. Right. Too funny. Well, let's talk a little bit about Lemon or Lime and the process of if anyone was interested and they wanted to open up a Lemon or Lime in their city or state. How does that process work? Or how does that look like?
Oh, in any market, you can have a 50-mile radius wherever you live, and you would first call us.
Right. Talk to Amanda.
You'd call us and we'd set up an interview, a phone call, and we'd talk about your goals and what you're interested in. And we really set you up for success with our franchise. We've got it all mapped out and figured out for you.
Right.
And we give you a lot of really cool bar supplies when you get started. So that's really
right. And really just how to start the whole process.
How to start your own business and
all the way down to the LLC or to the insurance, to the EIN number,
guide you right along. So
all the things you probably won't know if you haven't owned a business before.
And it can be a side hustle. You can have a side hustle.
It could be good for a teacher,
or it can be your full-time job.
Of course.
Can. It depends on how much you want to put into it.
Right.
But in every market, there's a need for a bartending service, not just for weddings. Professional. And not just for weddings, but we do corporate events. We do birthday parties.
Charity events.
Exactly.
There's definitely a lot of things. So like you said, it could be a side hustle because most events are on the weekend. But you have Tuesday events, Thursday events, Monday events. I've seen every day you've done an event.
Mm-hmm. It's
so
true.
Full-time for sure if you wanted to do that, You
could make it however, whatever you want to put. It's what you want to put into it.
Absolutely. No, for sure.
Yeah.
And I really don't think there's a city that, unless you're like in rural Oklahoma or somewhere, but as long as you're within, a town or city that has bars and, things like that. I think everybody's either having a party or some type of event that's happening. That everyone needs a bartender.
Right. And we go, we do private residence, we do wedding venues. We definitely go into the corporate world.
Right.
We've worked in corporate businesses where we've done like their anniversary parties
or grand opening.
So there's always places that a bar can go.
Right.
And people always need bars for lots of events.
Right.
So
you even went into like It was like a boutique
Yeah, we were
type
in
of a clothing store.
It was really cool. It was the anniversary
Yeah.
party. They were lovely. It was so much fun.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's really no place a bar can't be unless, alcohol is not allowed there.
Exactly. And if alcohol is not allowed, you can do mocktails.
Right. And we've done that before for some events, especially with Tanger. Like we can't serve alcohol to the public.
Right.
But they do mocktails and some fun
we do
things.
some really fun mocktails.
Yeah. So, so with the process, I mean, obviously they get to learn all of those things, but then they come with you to an event, right?
Right. They do. They learn
hands-on,
and we teach them everything they need to know. We guide them through the whole process of owning your own business. So you know,
and then you're always there for the support, the guidance, if they have questions or need things, where to buy things, order things, all those.
Yeah. And we also tell them like things that have worked for us, things that we do that have worked for us that we've learned.
Right.
Sometimes the hard way, to figure out what things that.
Right.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
It's true.
I mean, all the way down to like what type of sternos work better,
exactly.
right?
No, it's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, not for food, for warm drinks,
Right.
if you needed hot chocolate. Well, oh yeah, you recently just did one. It was super cute. It was over winter.
Yeah.
And it was for like a holiday thing, right?
Yeah, it was like a holiday open house. And we did a hot chocolate, hot apple cider bar.
Love it. And you had all the different mix-ins and things like that.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
So fun. And you had it on that cute little cart.
We had a little bar cart. It was really cute.
Yeah, that's fun. That's cool.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in lemon or lime or doing your side hustle or maybe starting a new business, definitely contact Amanda. So tell them how they can get in contact with you, website, email.
Right. So our email is myrtlebeach@lemonorlimebar.com. And that's the best way to get in touch with us. They can also check out our website. It's lemonorlimebar.com. And
find us on Instagram.
Yeah, follow
Facebook,
us on Instagram.
All those fun places as well. And definitely check us out. And thanks for joining us on
Thank
this
you
Takes
so
the
much.
Cake. And thanks for coming on,
Thank
Amanda.
you.
It was awesome to talk all the fun bar things and things that people probably really didn't even know that goes behind the scenes. So
Thank you.
awesome. All right. Thank you guys. Until next time.